diffuse smooth goiter. Whereas now, if it is a diffuse smooth goiter, then remember, if it is a diffuse smooth goiter, then remember this diffuse smooth goiter or so-called non-toxic goiter is also called as a colloid goiter. Whereas on the other hand, if it is a diffuse toxic goiter, then remember it is Graves' disease. Bus. Now let us understand the next group. Up till this is very clear, more or less everyone is clear with this. Now let us talk about the next group. The next group is in which the thyroid morphology is, the surface is like this. There are nodules. So what will this be called as in this group?
Multinodular.
Okay. So if it is multinodular, remember that if it is multinodular, then what is important is, these are the two parallel pictures that I have drawn for you. This pathology will thus be called as non-toxic multinodular goiter. Okay. This is something that we have discussed in the last class. This pathology will be called as toxic multinodular goiter. Also, if a diffuse toxic goiter is called as a Graves' disease, this disease is also a very important MCQ, is called as Plumer's disease. American textbooks will like to talk about this. British textbooks like Bailey Love don't. So it is Plumer's disease, and that was Graves' disease. Have I made you understand up till this point?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes,
Good.
sir.
If you have understood up till this point, then the last of the variant. Now, in this last of the variant, there can be one important, or before I make this line, I shouldn't have made this line. In a multinodular goiter, remember that if one of the nodules in a multinodular goiter is larger than other nodules and is clinically large than the other nodules. Understand the concept. Say for example, there are 100 students in a class. One of the student is 150 kgs. He is so large that he takes the whole bench. Okay. When the teacher enters the class, he is asked all the questions. Why do you think he is asked all the questions? Because this type of a nodule will be called as a discrete nodule. So what is a discrete nodule? Hello? What is a discrete nodule? A discrete nodule is a nodule which is larger in size than the rest of the other nodules. Have I made you understand up till this point?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Good. Now there is another term. Something in a multinodular goiter, remember, one of the nodules is functionally more active than the other nodules. Now, functionally more active than the other nodules does not mean that it is going to produce more hormones. It only means one point, that if someone or the average score in the class has been 60 out of 80, this student is scoring 80 out of 100. But if someone is scoring 110 out of 100, that is bad. So remember, this kind of a nodule, which is functionally more active than the other, is called as a dominant nodule. So now, can you tell me the difference between a discrete nodule and a dominant nodule? What is the difference between a discrete nodule and a dominant nodule? If the nodule is large in size, not in function, maybe in function, that is not an important. But if the nodule is larger in size in comparison with the other nodules, what is this called as? When size
Discrete.
does matter, is called as discrete. But if the nodule is functionally more active than the other, then what is that called as? Dominant. Now, if you have understood up till this point, what investigation will pick up a discrete nodule?
USG.
USG.
Very good. To pick up an discrete nodule, you need an ultrasound. But to pick up whether it is functionally more active than the
Radioiodine.
other nodule,
Radioiodine.
good one. It took me 5 years to understand. You understood it in just 5 minutes. Extremely nice, guys. Is radioiodine scan. So please remember that. So this is all that I had to talk about nodule nomenclature, with the last entry into something called as a solitary thyroid nodule. Now, what is a solitary thyroid nodule? By definition, a solitary thyroid nodule comes as a long question, comes sometimes as a short note, uncommon, not uncommon, sometimes as an MCQ even. Now, when I talk about a solitary thyroid nodule, what is a solitary thyroid nodule? Solitary thyroid nodule is defined as a clinical entity. It is defined as a clinical entity of enlargement of a lobe or part of a lobe. Bus, that's it. It means that either the patient presents with one lobe that is prominent, okay? So the patient presents with one lobe that is prominent, or the patient presents with part of a lobe that is prominent and clinically palpable. But that's it. Please understand. Solitary thyroid nodule, the only line that you will shade with a yellow marker pen is the term clinical entity. It is not a pathological diagnosis. It is a clinical diagnosis. Please understand, it is a clinical diagnosis. Now, what is the etiology for a solitary thyroid nodule? Understand that. If you have understood till multinodular goiter, the first of the causes is a multinodular goiter. Now, when you talk about a multinodular goiter, also called as a colloid nodule, that means normally the multinodular goiters, as you know, are usually a diffuse disease. So like this picture, that it's a diffuse disease. Then tell me, to become a solitary thyroid nodule, what should be the configuration of this part? Sir, very simple. The rest of the gland is affected by the disease, but out of this, only one nodule is palpable. So can you tell me what is this nodule called as?
Discrete nodule.
This is a discrete nodule. Now the next question is, if this is a diffuse disease, in this patient you could palpate both the lobes and the isthmus. Why could you not palpate in this patient? Sir, because this is of a subclinical enlargement. So there is a subclinical enlargement of the thyroid. So there is a subclinical enlargement of the thyroid. which did not allow you to palpate the rest of the gland, but one nodule is palpable. So you can write this: discrete nodule is palpable is equal to an STN palpable. Have you understood up till this point? Hello?
Sir, can you please repeat this part?
Right. Now, what is the expectation out from a multinodular goiter? That both the lobes are enlarged. Okay. So that means when you palpate, both the lobes are palpable. But when you palpate in this patient, you can palpate only one lobe or a part of a lobe. That means the automatic question that you will have is, so sir, if it is a multinodular goiter, what happened to the other parts of the thyroid? Why is it not palpable? Because what is the pathology, sir? It is subclinical enlargement, hence it is not palpable. It is not that it is not affected by the disease. It is affected, but it is not that large to get affected. Okay, but what about this one, sir? The nodule that is larger in the size than the rest of them are palpable, hence it is this. Clear? Have I made you understand up till this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Good. If you have understood, then remember that this is 50% of all STN is this. Out of 100, 50% of an STN. What is an STN? Solitary thyroid nodule is a clinical entity. Clinical entity. It is not a pathology. Second reason is a papillary cancer of the thyroid, with which we are not going to talk today. We are going to dedicate a class on cancers of thyroid. When you talk about a papillary cancer of thyroid, that means the only thing that you can palpate, there may be cancer in other part, other gland also, I do not know, but this is the palpable nodule is the cancer. What type of cancer, sir? Papillary cancer. What is the age group of papillary that I have taught? Is 20s to 40 is the age group of papillary cancer. Females more common than males. And the last point is history of a radiation exposure. So please write these 3 lines. I will again repeat. When to think of a papillary cancer? Point number 1, age. What is the age at which a papillary cancer happens? What
20
is
to
the
40.
age? 20 to 40.
20 to 40.
Which gender has more papillary cancer?
Female.
Female. And with a history of a radiation exposure in childhood. History of a radiation exposure in childhood. So let me draw a bacha for you so that you can remember this. Sir drew a bacha. Chalo. How much percentage of solitary thyroid nodule is a multinodular goiter?
50%.
50%.
Papillary cancers are 20%. Okay, right. Come to the third cause. The third cause is a follicular neoplasm. Why can't I say this is a carcinoma or adenoma? Because as you know the reasons, FNAC cannot distinguish. So if this is the nodule that is palpable, the other part of the gland may be affected, but I'm not. Okay. But what is important is this is a follicular adenoma or a follicular carcinoma. Very good. The typical age is from 30 to 50, female equal to male, and history of residing in an endemic region. Okay. history of residing in an endemic region. I hope you know what is an endemic region for a goiter. Chalo, theek hai. Which parts of India are endemic for a goiter?
Himalaya.
The Himalaya.
Right.
Okay. 20% of solitary thyroid nodule is a follicular neoplasm. Now tell me, have you completed writing? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. How much percentage of solitary thyroid nodule is multinodular goiter?
50%.
Okay. How much is papillary cancer?
20.
20.
How much is follicular neoplasm?
20.
20. The last kind of a solitary thyroid nodule is called as a thyroid cyst, which means a fluid-filled collection lined by follicular cell. So this is a fluid-filled collection. So these cells, as you see, are follicular cells. These cells that you see are follicular cells. And what is the content in between? As I have said, the content in between is clear fluid. Please don't say water. It is clear fluid. So this is called as a thyroid cyst, which is benign, comes from a colloid degeneration, not cancer, colloid degeneration. Females have it more than males. Age group can be from 20 to 50. I will again repeat: benign colloid degeneration, female greater than male, and age group 20 to 50. Have you completed writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you completed writing?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, guys, I'm very hungry. I do not know about you. I'm very hungry. Let us do a pizza chart. Oh, what is this thing called in statistics? I've forgotten the name. What is this thing called in statistics?
Pie
chart.
chart.
Oh, pie chart. Oh, sorry, man. I was thinking about pizzas today. Okay. Now, in this pizza chart, oh, sorry, again, pie chart. Very sorry. Okay. So, what is the majority of STN due to?
MNG.
Multinodular.
Multinodular goiter. How much percentage? 50%. Okay. How much amount of percentage is due to papillary cancer?
20%.
20%.
Okay. How much amount of this is due to follicular cancer?
20%.
Oh, follicular neoplasm, na sir? Follicular neoplasm is 20%. And the last 10% is
Thyroid cyst.
Thyroid cyst.
cyst. This brings us to common MCQs to be asked about. The first MCQ in question is, what is the most common cause of a solitary thyroid nodule?
Multinodular goiter.
Is a degenerative goiter, or as a part of a multinodular goiter, or as a part of a colloid goiter? More or less, all of them are not exactly the same, but still in the same group. What is the percentage or frequency of cancer in an STN?
40%.
40%. अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब देखो follicular neoplasm, come on guys, follicular neoplasm half is going to be benign, half is going to be, what does the word follicular neoplasm mean? Adenoma and carcinoma. Adenoma is benign, carcinoma is malignant. So at least make 20% plus 10%. 30% of this is cancer. Clear up till this? So that means if you understand, out of a patient with an STN, if I ask you, out of 4 patients, how many patients are going to have a cancer? At least one patient. Okay. Have I made you understand up till this point? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let us come to the approach to an STN. When you come to approach to an STN, the first approach to an STN,
Repeat that cancer STN part 20% plus 10%.
I could not understand your question, please.
Can you repeat that cancer STN part 20% plus 30% equals to
20%.
yes, yes.
Out in this follicular neoplasm, what does the word neoplasm mean?
benign.
Adenoma.
Benign.
Adenoma.
plus carcinoma.
Adenoma is benign. Carcinoma is
Malignant.
malignant. So it is good to estimate that 20% is 10% adenoma and 10% carcinoma. At least let us have it like that to make things simple. So now tell me, how much percentage of STN is a cancer? 20 plus 10, at least 25%. I hope you will agree with us. That means out of 4 patients, 1 patient is going to have a cancer. Okay. Hence, it is so important to think over, to evaluate. So the approach to STN, the step 1 of an approach to STN is a clinical examination. The step 1 on an approach to STN is a clinical examination. What you can do is that you can take a yellow color and you can shade the box, because whatever is the investigation we are going to do, we are writing a long question and need to shade the long question. Now, what are the important things in that clinical examination? So, clinical examination, the important points to note are the history. I will be going a bit fast at this point, so kindly bear with me. The history part of this study is the age of the patient, is the gender of the patient, is history of residing at an endemic area, and history of a radiation. Next part, history of hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. And finally, history of cancer mets. I will again repeat. The history has to be age, gender, history of residing in an endemic area, history of a radiation exposure, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, history of a cancer metastasis. The clinical examination is about size of nodule, consistency of the nodule, in which please write a word called as thyroid paradox. I will not be explaining this today. In cancer, I will be teaching you this part. What is a thyroid paradox? The last part is lymph node. Okay? So please remember this part. Have you completed writing the box?
Yes, sir.
Let us wait for others. So history of age, sex, endemicity, radiation, hypothyroidism, cancer met, size nodule, consistency, lymph node. If all of you have completed, please give me yes, and then I will proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Done, sir.
Come to step 2. The step 2 is estimation of TSH estimation. The step 2 is estimation of something called as a TSH. Please again mark it with a yellow marker. Okay. The normal levels of TSH, oh, I really forgot. The normal levels of TSH are
0.5 to 0.32
3 to 5
5.
mainly international units.
Very, 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 very important. Please give a 5-star rating. Okay. This is important in both medicine and surgery. If you want it tattooed in your hand, please do this tattoo. At least in surgery and medicine, pediatrics, gynecology, TSH has to be remembered by you guys. No discount. Now, based on the TSH estimation, you divide your patients into 3 groups in the step 2. Now, the TSH is low, TSH is normal, or TSH is high. TSH is low. What is this group of patients called as? TSH is low. Very good.
Hyperthyroid.
This group of patients are called as hyperthyroid. TSH is normal is sorry,
Euthyroid.
TSH is normal is called as euthyroid. Oh, just a minute. And finally, TSH is high is called as
Hypothyroidism.
hypothyroid. Now, at this point, it is good now to make the line at this point. What is the risk that this group has a cancer? This has less than 1% chance of a cancer. Point number 2. So the only etiology is something called as a toxic nodule from a spectrum of a multinodular goiter. The only etiology of a solitary thyroid nodule being toxic is a toxic nodule in a spectrum of a multinodular goiter, also called as a toxic adenoma, also called as a toxic adenoma, also called as a toxic adenoma. So please remember, more hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis, whatever you call this to be, the chance of cancer is less than 1%. What is the only etiology that I have told you? Sir, the etiology is called as toxic adenoma. And thus, in this patient, remember, the step 3 is something called radio iodine uptake. The radio iodine uptake study. Radio iodine uptake study. Okay. What does it show you? It shows you that one part of the thyroid has a hot nodule. Other parts of the thyroid have no uptake or warm uptake. What are these terms? You will not understand today. Request you to take down these notes. On a radio iodine scan, remember, on a radio iodine scan, this is what completes the step 3 investigation. Have you made a picture like this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. If I made a picture like this disease is called as Goetz disease. What is the toxic multinodular goiter called as?
Graves disease.
Graves disease.
Lamar's
No, toxic
Lamar's
multinodular goiter is called
Lamar's
as
Lamar's disease.
Lamar's disease. Wow, great. What is a Graves disease?
diffuse toxic goiter.
Diffuse toxic goiter.
What is a toxic multinodular goiter called as?
Plumage disease.
Then tell me, what is a toxic nodule called as?
Goetz.
Goetz disease. Very good. So the radioiodine uptake study is done, and you have completed up till this with one cautionary word. At this point, write an important word. No FNAC oblique biopsy is done. You are not going to do an FNAC or a biopsy. You can mark it with a star, comes as your Viva and MCQ. The answer is, question is why. Point number 1
Thyroid
will
uptake.
lead to thyroid storm. Point number 2, chance of cancer is less than 1%. Okay. So this is the 2 words to remember. The treatment of choice for a toxic nodule depends upon the age of the patient. Age of the patient is less than 45 years. The treatment is lobectomy. Age of the patient is more than 45 years, is either lobectomy or radio iodine ablation. Have you completed writing this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good. Chalo. So this is all things that you are required to know in the toxic nodule. Have you made your algorithm like this? Hello?
Yes.
Made an algorithm like this? Write this. Just a second. So now let us come to the other side of the story. The other side of the story is about the euthyroid and the hypothyroid. In this euthyroid and hypothyroid, understand that the step 3 is an ultrasound of the neck that includes the thyroid and the lymph nodes. So the step 3, these are some things that you are asked in your MCQ. What is the next step that you will do? I hope I have made these things very clear to you. We do not have any confusions in this. We are surgeons. We think like a Germany team. We don't think like a Brazil or Italy team. Our thought processes are very clear. We are not like medicine guys. We are not confused. Step 3 is an ultrasound of the neck of thyroid and lymph node. Now, based on the ultrasound, remember, we stratify the disease as low risk or very low risk, intermediate risk, and high risk in terms of cancer features. What are these? I am going to come to this very soon. That means based on the ultrasound, please complete the writing, and then, because after you have completed the writing, then we are going to talk thereafter. So we stratify the disease as this group. Okay. After we have stratified the disease as this group, then remember what are the ultrasound features of cancer or highly probable for cancer. Highly probable for cancer. The class is ending, guys. We are near the end of the class. Don't worry, we will have a 15 minutes MCQ after this session. That's it. Ultrasound features of a cancer. Okay. Now, the first kindly write, and then at the end I will again explain. Kindly you are requested to write. The first ultrasound feature is microcalcification. So the first point is microcalcification. The second point is irregular border. Okay. The third point is hypoechoic solid nodule. Okay. The fourth point is extra thyroid extension. The fifth point is the lesion is taller than broader. Now, what do you mean by these terms? Please complete writing and then we will see what is what. Okay. So kindly complete writing and then I will proceed. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Kindly complete writing, so all of you, so that I can proceed. You take a 5 minutes on writing.
Sir.
Right, please, sir. Of when all of you have finished writing, kindly let me know.
Sir, why do we need to do a step 3 if there is only one etiology in the hyperthyroidism part?
Sir, this is not in a one etiology because I need to confirm. That's it. This is the reason. And
Okay.
I am not taught you thyrotoxicosis. I will teach you thyrotoxicosis. Then we'll talk. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if you have completed writing, then please tell me. Then thereafter, I will proceed then. Have you completed writing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So if you have completed writing, by the time I do have time, I like drawing pictures a lot. Okay. So my hidden ambition was to become a cartoonist, but things did not turn up that well. Okay. So when everyone is ready, kindly let me know. Okay. Have you finished writing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes.
So should I repeat from beginning? So the ultrasound, if you have written writing like that, the ultrasound, remember, is a third step. And the ultrasound stratifies the disease as low risk, high risk, intermediate, and high. Now, what are the ultrasound features? I think that in your screens, I have made a few points, and with the few points, I have made, or I have tried to make at least a simple schoolboy like diagram. So if you can do that in your exam copies or your notes, that will be very appreciated. So this is what is the most important. Out of this, what is the number one thing that I have given? What is the most important point?
Micro classification.
Is micro calcifications. Okay, right. I think the rest of the things are understandable. Irregular border, I think you can understand irregular border. I think you can see hypoechoic solid nodule in this picture. Extrathyroidal extension, I have shown you this picture, and more tall than broad. That means the tumor is more tall than broad. What is important is, if there is a lymph node, what is the criteria that is a cancer lymph node? The answer is a normal lymph node. Remember, a normal lymph node has a biconcave appearance like this, whereas a cancer metastatic lymph node is globular, round. It is more broad than tall. In a primary, it is more tall than broad. In a METS node, more broad. Sorry, primary is more tall than broad. Lymph nodes are more broad than tall. But just remember, and the shape of this is round. Boss, that's it. Step 3 done.
Sir, can you repeat the lymph node part?
A normal lymph node, sir. What is the shape of a normal lymph node? Convex or concave? Not biconvex. One is convex, one is concave. But if it is a metastatic node, then what is the shape like? It is
Globular.
globular, more broad than tall. Okay. And is usually hypoechoic. Complete. Final part. We have completed all parts. The step 4. Nonetheless, we are ending the class now.
Sir,
Is-
cancerous ones are broader than taller.
Yes, sir. Cancer ones are broader than taller.
Sir,
Final
lymph
part.
নোডটা hypoechoic হচ্ছে due to blood vessels.
Sir, questions comment after the class, please. We are short on time. Maybe. Okay. Step 4 is, please do an FNAC under ultrasound guidance. What is the step 4? Dr. Saab, jaldi bataiye mujhe. What is the step 4?
FNAC under
See,
USG
under
guidance.
ultrasound guidance. And based on the FNAC, how is the FNAC reported like?
Bethesda.
Bethesda. Okay. And by this time, I hope you know what is Bethesda 1, Bethesda 2, Bethesda 3, Bethesda 4, Bethesda 5, Bethesda 6. Should I need to repeat what is Bethesda 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So please complete, because your long question is complete. This is the approach to STN based on Bailey Love and Saviston. And this is the modern approach to STN. We will not discuss about what is this Bethesda, but one little question. 6 is going to have a total thyroidectomy. 5 is going to have
Lobectomy
Lobectomy
or
or total
thyroidectomy. 4 is going to have lobectomy. 3 is going to have
Clinical follow-up.
clinical follow-up, okay, or a lobectomy. 2 is going to have a clinical follow-up. 1 is going to have
DFNS with USG guidance.
This completes your answer. I hope you will be able to write this. This completes your answer. Okay.
Hello?
Sir, what is the next step in hypo?
Sir, we have completed the all treatment, sir. Based on the treatment, so your answer is just complete. What is the etiology of an STN? Okay, now quickly tell me an important point. If you have talked about this part, so this algorithm, is this algorithm clear? This algorithm that you wrote today, is this algorithm clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Hello, good. If this algorithm is clear, then this approach to this STN is called as the ATA guidelines 2015. ATA stands for American Thyroid Association. American Thyroid Association. Okay, complete. Chalo. Now, what is important is, I hope I have told you the 4 etiologies. You can now think over what is going to be what in that. If it is a multinodular goiter, what Bethesda is it going to be?
Sir, is the step for common to low also?
Yes, sir. Sir, see this common graph. Both low. No, sir. TSH is, remember, high or normal. That means hypothyroid and this. In a hyperthyroid, we do not go for an FNAC. Should I mark it again with a color pen? I have told you the reason very clearly. Why is this not done? Okay. Hello.
Yes,
Chalo.
sir.
Yes, sir.
For a multinodular goiter, mind you, if the Bethesda is 2 or 3, the treatment of choice can be a lobectomy. If it is a papillary cancer, what is the treatment of choice?
Total thyroid.
Total thyroidectomy.
Total thyroidectomy. If it is a follicular neoplasm, what is the treatment of choice? At least a lobectomy if it is an adenoma, or total thyroid. If it is a thyroid cyst, what is the treatment? The only treatment is aspiration or follow-up. What is important is, if a thyroid cyst on aspiration recurs, reaspirate. If it again recurs, reaspirate. बोलो वाह कितना बार करेंगे सर आप reaspirate? If it now recurs,
Lobectomy.
please go for a lobectomy. This part is an MCQ that has come couple of times in AIIMS. What is the treatment for, or a true and false question about a thyroid cyst? Aspiration, 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 3 times done, recurs, lobectomy. So this is what is the treatment you have completed. A little quick look, 2 minutes at a picture for an exam, and you are required to know about this part of this ultrasound. Right. Now, do I have your attention on the screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
We have technically more or less the big part of the class is done. We are now into MCQs material, pure MCQ. This picture is something called as the ATA classification and is given from your book called as the Saviston 21st. So this is something that I took from the SABI 21 because questions have been asked from this table. This is unfortunately true, that people have asked you questions because to surgeons, this becomes an important point. Okay. This table that you are seeing in front of you is something called as ATA nodule screening pattern for a cancer. Okay, so this is this. Now, see this. Do I have the vision in your screens now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This type of this appearance, what will you call this type of a cyst to be? Sir, I will call this cyst to be an anechoic. Can you see the smooth wall? What is the chance that this has a cancer? It is less than 1%. You are not required to remember this. Just see the pictures. Now, if it is very low suspected, the appearance can be like this, partly cystic, partly solid, and these features are of this area. We are not interested. I'm not asking you to remember. Gradually, when you go to low suspected area, now see this picture. If this is the normal thyroid, can you see this nodule very clearly in the gland? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the echogenicity of this nodule? Iso, hypo, hyper?
Hyper.
Hyper.
Hyper. What is the border like? Regular or irregular?
Regular.
Regular.
Now see this one. What is this one, sir? What is the border like?
Isoechoic
Regular.
Regular.
Isoechoic. Very good. I'm so happy. See this one.
Hypoechoic
This is
irregular.
this is cyst, but this is solid. But the only problem is, Bhaiya, I'm getting afraid. I'm really getting afraid now. So what is the chance it has a cancer? 10%. Now come to the next group. What is this one? If this is the nodule, what is this hypoechoic? Very good. It took me many years to understand this. I'm so happy that you have known this just only in today's class. So this is again a hypoechoic. What about the border?
Both
Regular.
Their regular border. Now come to the final one. 90% chance. What is this finding inside this one?
Microcalcification.
Very good. What is this one, sir?
Irregular.
Irregular border.
And this is
Hyper.
okay. See this one. More tall
Taller than broader.
than broader.
Taller than
Okay.
broader.
Very good. And see this one. If
Irregular.
this is the strap muscles, what is happening to this?
Extension.
Extension. And finally, you have lymph nodes. What has happened to the lymph node?
Broader than taller.
More broader than.
Broader than tall.
So if you have taken down this picture, if you want to take a screenshot, please do.
Sir, can you show
This-
that last lymph node which is broader than taller? I couldn't see the lymph node underneath the drawing. Sir, underneath the drawing.
Underneath the drawing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Clear?
sir. Yes, sir.
Good. So this completes your more or the less and big picture point for today. This is something, as I've told, from Saviston, the ATA classification. Okay. So chalo. So the last question, the last 5 to 10 minutes, we will be dedicating, as I have said, for your MCQs
lymph
only.
node hypoechoic বা hyperechoic বা isoechoic বলবো না ওটা শুধু
Lymph nodes, sir, if it is
Margin.
cancer, good question. If it is cancer, they are usually hypoechoic. Okay, chalo. Now the last couple of MCQs, class ends, as I've said, will take only 10 minutes and the class ends.